Euromaxx highlights. And here's your host, Louise Houghton.
Hello and a sunny welcome to the show today. There was a lot going on around Europe this week, so here's a few of the stories that we featured. Image improvement. Local drinking laws on the Spanish island of Mallorca are tightened. Dance till you drop. Electro fans celebrate the Tomorrowland festival in Belgium. And vintage vehicles. Luxury old-timers relive their glory days on the racetrack. It is the holiday season here in Europe, and hundreds of thousands of people choose to spend their time off on the Spanish and Greek islands. Mallorca is trying to improve its reputation as of this summer, and local authorities have tightened their laws on the famous party strip of Playa de Palma. Certain drinks on the beach have been prohibited, and police are out on patrol. But will this help to entice a different crowd to the island? We went to find out.
This is how many tourists imagine Mallorca. And this is how the island's authorities want it to be perceived in future. Stylish and classy. From this summer, new laws are set to make that a reality. Additional police officers are on patrol near Arenal at the end of Playa de Palma beach. Misdemeanors attract fines of up to €600.
The beach is not possible drink glasses, bottle glasses or glasses. It's not possible. And this is although it's not possible. El comportamiento de muchos turistas.
Many tourists think they can behave however they like just because they're in another country, but that's not okay. The beach is here for everyone to enjoy, not just tourists.
The notorious sangria buckets that were once consumed by hard-drinking German tourists here are now banned. And you're no longer allowed to wear swim attire in the side streets behind the beach. The restrictions are designed to change the atmosphere.
It's different. There's a different feeling, especially here at the beach. But it doesn't affect the atmosphere that much.
Bucket drinking. It's just the thing here. I don't do it, but I don't see the harm.
Last night, the ground was covered in beer cans, so it's a good thing.
We were here last year.
The atmosphere was better.
Yes, there was music, alcohol, buckets.
It's not the same anymore.
Party seekers are not the biggest source of income for Mallorca's tourist industry, and they give the island a down-market image.
Tourists are spending less and less here. Palma has gone downhill as a tourist destination. We've been considering for a long time how we can reposition it and revamp it as a destination.
These new improved beach chairs cost 3 times the old price. They're a sign that things are changing here. During the day, it has already become quieter. But in the evening, the party goes on in Arenal. The new rules have put few tourists off. Some 4 million Germans still flock to the island every year. But seasonal workers say things have changed visibly.
This year, you can see the differences. The people are older, there are all these rules and police walking up and down. It's ridiculous. It's not what it used to be. But who cares? It's just once a year.
Party-loving German holidaymakers still find everything they expect. Pop veteran Peter Wackel has been revving up the guests here for 15 years. He says officials will never succeed in turning Playa de Palma upmarket.
Friends of mine went to their usual hotel. Suddenly there was Wi-Fi, a flat-screen TV, a new bathroom, but it cost the same. I haven't noticed any luxury tourism here. I don't see anyone building a finca. The rich and glamorous don't come here. Mallorca is quite divided. Playa de Palma is a party beach, just like Magaluf is for the English. Then there's Port Adriano and Puerto Portals. That's where you get the wealthy, glamorous set.
The rich and discerning hang out far from the party crowd at places like Palma's Anima Beach Club. It boasts an international clientele. a laid-back atmosphere, and no overcrowded beaches. This is what the local authorities want people to picture when they think of Mallorca. The image will be complemented by gourmet harbourside restaurants. Several hotels are being upgraded to 4- and 5-star accommodation. Within 6 years, Mallorca could look totally different. The island is looking forward to showing its 10 million annual visitors its classier side.
Of course, if you want to let your hair down, there has to be somewhere you can do it. So if it's not on an island, how about at a festival? Over the last 2 weekends, electronic music fans flocked to Tomorrowland. This is one of the biggest festivals on the planet, yet it's held in the small town of Boom in Belgium. Its popularity has grown so much over the last 10 years that it's now being exported to other countries to offer more people this kind of experience.
360,000 revelers in the audience. The world's best DJs on the stage. The Tomorrowland Festival in Belgium is always a big event. It attracts electronic music fans from all over the world, and they're never disappointed.
Tomorrowland is the best festival in the world, that's why. It's a fantasy.
The anticipation starts to mount months in advance. Tickets tend to sell out fast. This year, they were gone in 1 hour. Back home in Italy, Riccardo Casotto, Simone Mani and their friends were ecstatic when they managed to secure tickets online. But they don't look like standard tickets. They're delivered in a mysterious box. Lots of people like to film the moment they open it and post the videos online. The Italians are a DJ team. They're here for the second time.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, even at the gathering, there was a party given on Thursday. It was crazy. I mean, everybody is screaming and jumping everywhere and dancing. It's really cool.
Tomorrowland is great for the music, for the situation, because everybody is here for having fun and to listen to music, listen to our favorite DJs, and it's great. It's great. In Italian, we don't have festival like this.
This year, Tomorrowland is taking place for the 10th time, but it's the first time it's being held on 2 consecutive weekends. The centerpiece is an elaborately designed main stage that looks straight out of a fairy tale. Tomorrowland is as exciting for the DJs as it is for the audience.
If you look at the main stage, they've got a waterfall. I've never seen a waterfall on the main stage. They've got all these things that are turning, everything's moving, everything's really visually interesting, and they just take it to another level.
It doesn't matter where I go in the world. When people talk about festivals, first they talk about Tomorrowland. It's a development in recent years, and it's great if you're part of the festival and can proudly say, I'm playing there.
Visitors can get the right look thanks to professional stylists. The future at Tomorrowland is rosy. There are several shopping streets here. You can even recharge your smartphone. Or buy grilled meat at the festival's own butcher shop, and the bakery sells 40,000 rolls a day. Tomorrowland attracts prominent visitors like Prince Laurent of Belgium.
I think it's a combination of decoration, of music, of comfort, because it's a very comfortable festival. We have everywhere wooden floors, very nice food. So I think it's a combination of all those things that makes it so unique and so popular.
Those looking for a bit of luxury can sample some gourmet food and watch the action on the main stage at the same time. People from more than 200 countries are drawn to the festival. The concept of a fantasy world coupled with electronic music and parties seems to work. And it's even being exported. Last year, Tomorrowland has been held in the US, and next year it's heading to Brazil. Ricardo and his friends want to get their hands on the coveted tickets for next year too, but first they're celebrating their last night at this year's festival.
It's amazing, it's amazing. This is the main stage. We've been warming up for all the day and now it's gonna be madness.
Tomorrowland organizers have promised visitors the key to happiness this year. If that means partying at the world's largest electro festival, it's already a reality.
Now, when was the last time that you sent a postcard? As we move more and more into the digital age, it seems that many people prefer to say a quick hello to back home with their smartphones, rather than taking the time, effort and expense to send a postcard. But there is something special about receiving a wish you were here card, even if it does arrive home days, weeks or even months after you actually do.
Send us a postcard. In the past, that's what you said to friends or family heading off on vacation. Last year, 150 million postcards were delivered through the German post. That's 60 million fewer than were delivered in 2007. Today, smartphone selfies are competing with the traditional postcard as vacation greetings of choice.
It's easier to make photos or just something like that. So to send a message or an MMS or something like that.
I have a collection of postcards. I have a lot. I love postcards, yeah.
You don't have to scroll, and you can pin it up and look at it whenever you like. It's much nicer.
The Schöning Verlag publishing house in the city of Lübeck in northern Germany produces at least half of all the postcards sold in the country. In the last 10 years, its turnover in the sector has fallen by 10%. That's why business manager Boris Hesser is on the lookout for something new.
We're always trying to implement new ideas. This year we introduced what we call QR code cards. You can scan them with your cell phone and they produce sounds. And we've developed new ideas for cards for kids. There are always innovations, but within a certain framework. Clearly the postcard remains the postcard.
The Schöning Verlag sells 30 million cards a year. Dominating the top 10 on the publishing company's sales list are postcards with more than one image. Such cards basically imply this place has lots of fascinating sights. But there are also surprise success stories.
Around 5 or 6 years ago, these sign-style postcards came on the market. We couldn't understand it. We usually take 6 to 8 photos and print them on the card, and suddenly we were just printing writing on a background, and that worked just as well. At least it did for a few years. Production was really simple. Yellow background, black text, and the card was finished.
Schöning prints cards showing more than 1,000 locations. Feedback from retailers enables the company to expand and update its selection. One thing is constant: the weather is always good on postcards. A few exceptions only prove the rule. Tourists from different countries have differing tastes. Germans often buy humorous cards, while Americans go for historic views. And favoured destinations for different nationalities are reflected in popular postcards. Japanese tourists send lots of postcards from Neuschwanstein Castle. So does the postcard have a future?
Our company has been around for almost a century. At first, we printed only postcards. Today, they're only half of our production. The rest is calendars, travel guides and souvenirs.
As printed postcards have to compete with email postcards, they are growing more personal, with postcard vending machines like these in Hamburg, for example. For €3.50, you can print a card with a photo you took.
I like it. It's personal. It's perfect for a tourist, and I think it's really cute. You can hang it up at home.
And the new QR code cards are an attempt to digitally jazz up the postcard. But Boris Hesser believes the traditional postcard won't disappear completely anytime soon.
A selfie or a picture with a personal motif, me in front of Holsten Gate or my children in the water, a postcard can't do that. What we provide is really a great picture that doesn't exist otherwise. And also the potpourri.
Potpourri, sage ich mal.
Even the younger generation that's grown up with the internet doesn't completely reject the postcard.
I think they're cool because they're old school. They're much more fun than texting.
Even in the digital age, there are people out there who still like to send and receive the occasional postcard.
Trends of the past do, of course, become vintage after a while, and that certainly applies when it comes to cars. The Classic Motor Racing Festival recently took place at the British Silverstone track, and hundreds of classic cars were either out on display, being auctioned off, or seen racing around the track. The three-day event allows visitors to access almost all areas, but the highlight was definitely when the old-timers took to the tarmac.
They're the erstwhile stars of the racetrack, and even though they date back half a century, they're still looking pretty slick. Silverstone Classic is billed as the world's biggest classic motor racing festival. Barry Williams, nicknamed Wizzo, is a familiar face in the world of British racing. He wouldn't miss an event like this for the world.
I like to win everything, of course, but it's not possible. So it's taking part is the main thing. It's taking part and doing well and meeting people. And there's tremendous camaraderie in the classic world. I think it's wonderful.
The 1950s Aston Martin he's driving is owned by a collector and worth a cool €1 million. Wizzo has some 1,500 starts under his helmet, and at 75, he shows no sign of slowing down.
They're ready to go.
There we go. Is he still strong enough? Probably not. Yes, he is, after all that.
He takes to the grid facing an awesome collection of classic cars, all of them pre-1961 Grand Prix racers. Off the track, it's all about seeing and being seen. For the owner's cars, that is. It's also a major meet and greet event for British automobile associations. Simon is a member of the Jaguar Club. His baby dates from 1961 and has been in his hands almost ever since then.
It's a beautiful lady. It's probably epitomises what Sir William Lyons wanted: grace, space and pace. It's a beautiful car. It's very comfortable to travel in. It's lovely to drive, and it's very fast.
And there are plenty of opportunities to buy a classic racing car at the auction. There's something here for first-time vintage buyers and established collectors. If you fancy a Ferrari or a Porsche, their asking prices have been accelerating continuously in recent years.
It's like any price, it's supply and demand. There's a very limited supply of good quality cars, and there's an increasing demand as the market becomes global. So in America and Japan, in China and Hong Kong and South Africa, Australia, it's a global market. So the demand is building. China and India in particular are becoming more wealthy.
A total of 120 cars went under the hammer at this year's event. Collectors are willing to fork out over €200,000 for their classic. Most people, however, are just happy to be spectators.
They're all gorgeous. They got history. Yes, there's some cars on my wish list, but need a few more funds for that.
My passion is the MGs. I like the MGs, but I have to say the Aston Martin looks gorgeous. I have a real soft spot for those.
Actually, the Fiat 500 is my favourite, but no money, so we're just looking, wishful thinking.
And looking is very much encouraged here. Visitors are also given access to the trackside pit lane to get really close up to these historic speedsters. After the race, the drivers themselves return to the pit lane. Barry Williams finished 7th, but he's not really disappointed.
It hasn't got as much power as the other cars, but it's good. It's good enough. I had some big skids.
The main thing at the Silverstone Classic is not winning. As every year, it's about the sheer thrill of getting behind the wheel of a real blast from the past.
Now, off Finland's southwest coast lies the Åland Islands, an autonomous Swedish-speaking province that's belonged to Finland since 1921. Åland consists of one main island and a surrounding archipelago made up of thousands of smaller islands. It's the perfect area to visit to feel at one with nature, although this small spot on the map does have a fair amount of history to discover as well.
Huge ferries plying the water between small islands, an image typical of the Åland archipelago. The islands are right on the sea route between Stockholm and Helsinki. The archipelago has about 6,700 islands, but only 60 of them are inhabited. The capital, Mariehamn, lies on the main island, Fasta Åland. Almost 12,000 people live here. In the summer, many tourists join them, most of them day trippers. One of the town's favorite attractions is the Pommern, a sailing ship that was launched in 1903 and is now a museum. On the other side of the town is the Old Harbor, which today is home to artisan studios, restaurants, and cafes.
Originally, it wasn't a tourist place. Most of the buildings you see in here, they are private buildings. Various entrepreneurs, they are boat builders, they are blacksmiths, silversmiths, goldsmiths, and artists, and so on.
Åland has always attracted artists. A museum shows works painted in the late 19th century in the Örnsköldsvik Artists Colony, founded by a landscape painter, Victor Westerholm. Dozens of artists, most of them from Sweden or Finland, lived in the colony. Their main subjects were landscapes and portraits.
The colony was founded in 1886 and it ended in 1914 when the First World War came. But the most intense years were the years from 1886 until 1892, the 6 first years.
St. Olaf's Church in Jomala near Mariehamn is Finland's oldest stone building. The medieval castle and the ruins of the fortress show that Åland was once a fiercely contested territory. The archipelago's largest medieval church is also made of stone, Sund Church.
Although the population of Åland is a small one, there are a number of medieval stone churches here. And this particular Sund Church, where we are now, it's built 1270 approximately. And it contains several pieces of art which are very valuable and very special.
One of its treasures is the 5-meter-tall triumphal crucifix. It's about 2 hours by ferry from Mariehamn to the island of Trukar in the southeast of the archipelago. The former Franciscan monastery is already visible when the ferry enters the harbor. Finnish author Ulla-Lena Lundberg spends her summers on Trukar. Sometimes she takes other vacationers on tours of the monastery and the island. The monastery's tower is used for more than ringing bells.
It has a second function as a lighthouse, not a proper lighthouse, but as a site of a lantern that actually shows you the shipping route through here.
About 250 people live on Trukar. From here, you can take small boats to many uninhabited neighboring islands. One of those islands is Kjellskär. Many who come here visit the small house built on a cliff. It once belonged to Tove Jansson, a renowned Finnish writer. Kjellskär is a world of stone and cliffs. Just 20 minutes away by boat, another island provides a contrast. Ydu, covered with lush grass, is a natural paradise. The Åland archipelago. a destination with some astonishing landscapes.
And that tranquil scenery has brought us to the end of the show for today. Thank you for being with us, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye for now.